Hi guys, welcome to Seducing Mentors. My name is Ketan and today I'm going to talk about something really important, which is a gap year, right? So, a lot of students ask me, sir, is it really problematic if I take a gap? Or will this hamper my selection in a top-based school if I take a gap? Or will this create any problem for me if I want to kind of go ahead and sit for the campus placements and all that? So I'm going to talk about this. I'm also going to talk about in the end about my workshop which I'm going to conduct in Mumbai and Pune. So stick to this video till the end so you get to know both the updates. Now, number one, taking a gap is good or bad? See, sometimes it's good to take a gap and sometimes it's bad to take a gap. Now I'm going to also tell you guys when it is good and when it is bad. So point number one, if you ask me, by the way, let me give a disclaimer. Whatever I'm going to tell you in this video is not my personal opinion. The advice that I'm going to give you coming from my experience, the advice is on the basis of what the B schools are looking now and also what the market is looking at now. I mean, what corporates are wanting, right? So this is going to be the base of my advice. There is no personal opinion in this. Now, number one, taking a gap is absolutely not crime and it does not hit your profile. It does not make your profile lower than anybody else. Absolutely. So that's number one. That's number one. And to keep in your mind that taking a gap is not a crime. Absolutely. Number two, there is not even a single B school or an exam that say that if you have taken a 1, 2 or 3 years gap, then you should not be applying to this exam or then you should not be applying to the B school, right? So again, there is nobody who's really bothered about gap as far as exam and B schools are concerned. Then I don't think students should be bothering about their gap, right? That's number two. Number three, if you talk technically, a gap means something that you have done, you have not done anything. I mean, you're just idle. You were not doing anything for like 1, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, right? That is technically called as a gap. Now, let's say somebody's bedridden, right? Can be called as a gap, but again, you can produce some medical certifications and say that, you know what? Yes, because of which I could not do anything in my life. Now, if you have taken a gap for preparation of CAT, if you have taken a gap for preparation of CA, CFA, UPSC, MPSC, IIT, whatsoever, does not come under the category of a gap, to be very honest, because see, I'll tell you, as a country, India has grown a lot. Okay, India has grown a lot. Corporates know about it. B schools know about it. And that is the reason these things are not nowadays considered to be a gap because you were doing something in your life. I mean, come on, I know myself very well as a student. I know that I'm not a multitasker. I'm not an ambidextrous, right? I'm not a versatile. I knew that, if I take a gap, I can do very well in my studies. But if I go for work X, I might not be able to do it. This is what you need to explain them in the interview. Say that, sir, I'm not a multitasker and that is the reason I want to do an MBA because I want to understand how do you handle more than two things at a one shot. So that's going to be one of the reasons to do an MBA or why MBA, right? So that's something you need to understand first of all. Now, in all these cases, gap does not matter. But let's say if the interviewer, I'll tell you, being a panelist, we have seen this. If the interviewer says that or asks you, right, why have you taken a gap? Can you justify that? If you are not able to justify, then there is a huge problem. It's not only with gap people, it's with the WorkX folks also. Now, some of the guys I have interviewed have, I used to ask them, you know what, you have done your graduation in X field, your job is in Y or Z field, why there is a mismatch of your profile? And most of the time students are not able to explain me that why they opted for a particular job. You know what, this is miserable than taking a gap. It's better to take a gap, do nothing, prepare for exam and go for the interview rather than going for a WorkX and having no clue why did you opt for this WorkX at a first go, right? That's the problem. So if you're not able to explain your gap, then there is a huge problem. But again, if you're my student for GDPI VAT process, we will take care of all these things. I personally train students saying that, what you should be putting on the table, what kind of an explanation you should be giving. So I think gap is not a problem. Absolutely. That's number one. You need to understand that if you're taking a gap, please do not be in the impression that आपका profile खराब हो रहा है, आपने कुछ गलत करा है, ऐसा नहीं होता. Now understand this. From a corporate world, right? We talk about this, CAT and all that gap. If you look at the corporate India, right? As I said that, as a country we have grown a lot and we understand, what people are doing now. So even in the corporate world, there are people, they do their MBA, work for 5, 6 years, go for an entrepreneurship, they might join back. So even in the corporate world, this is now acceptable. And that is the reason B schools are now accepting. And that is the reason it's absolutely okay to take a gap. If you have taken a gap, the only thing that I want to tell you is that just don't go ahead with the gap. Do some certifications. Say if you're a MBA finance aspirant, you can join me for financial certifications. I run some of the in-house certifications, which is like online also. When we do the certification in equity analysis or investment bank and all that, you might as well want to do that, right? So again, coming back to the same point, it is not about taking a gap is a problem, but not be in a position to explain the gap. That's the main problem. And gap does not deteriorate any kind of anything on your profile. Absolutely not. There is no problem with that. So I tell my students, yeah, it's always good, it's always good to have 2 years ka gap and 98 percentile, but having 2 years ka work ex and with 90 percentile. So again, it's a subjective thing, but I'm just telling you that because at the end of the day, score would matter a lot. Yes, score is a part of your profile. That's what you need to understand. So guys, if you have taken this gap, I really want to tell you something, right? I want you to enjoy your preparation. Rather than thinking about, he has a work ex, I don't have a work ex, I have taken a gap, my profile is bad. Nothing like that happens. Trust me, if you're a gap student, if you're my student, you're sorted for your life. Don't worry about that. If you've taken a gap, just make it a point that you slog, you work hard, and you get those extra percentile. That's what you need to do. And if you've taken a gap, you can do a lot of things. I might as well make one video about it, that if you've taken a gap, what you can do in your life. But as of now, just to address this query, if you have taken a gap, you are not in a problem. Absolutely, everything is good, everything is perfect. Just make it a point that you study well, improve your personality, and enjoy your preparation. Don't get stressed with your preparation. That's it from my side, guys. If you have any query, you can probably pick me up. By the way, my workshop update. So yes, so we are launching Cat Carb Mega Workshop in Pune and Mumbai next week. We will send you the updates. Everything will be given to you. We will send you the emails and all that. I have mentioned the links in the description. Do join my groups. If you're from Mumbai, there is a Mumbai group. Pune group is there. For all India level group is there. So join those groups. We are doing a lot of preparation in those groups. So join those groups and stay tuned to my channel and wait for the notification for the CAT workshop. So that's it from my side, guys. Thank you so much.